You're broadcasting. The red light is on. We're broadcasting live from Mayapur. So isn't it significant that Krishna arranged this Lila, that they would have this discussion? That means it's a common misunderstanding. I'm not the doer, Krishna's the doer. That's true. Okay, you're not the doer. You're a criminal. You didn't build the prison. We admit that. The government built the prison. But if there were no criminals, the government will not build a prison. So even though you didn't build the prison, you were the cause of the prison being built. Right? You are responsible for the fact that the prison's being built, because if there are no criminals, you don't need a prison. Correct? Yeah. So, we take responsibility for our misdeeds, but because scriptures say that you are the material cause of everything, we think we are worthy of your grace. Are you saying that because I am the material cause, I am composed of the modes of nature? No, we're not saying that. You're untouched by the modes of nature. So while he's having this conversation, Krishna he gets distracted and he pulls the mortar. He's just having fun with this mortar. Anyway, they have this discussion and they agree that Krishna is the ultimate cause and you are transcendental. Watching Krishna play with the mortar, the demigods were momentarily confused. Here was the person who remained unfettered by the ropes of nature, yet he was tied by the ropes of his mother. So they're like, what's going on? They understand who Krishna is, and then he's like tied by this rope and he can't get free. And everyone in the material world is tied up by the ropes of the three modes, because guna means rope. So they're having like fun, like, what's going on here? This is like weird. Funny anyway, strange, right? So then Krishna agrees. He said, you're right, I'm the supreme. Having, this debate. So, Krishna, he blessed Nalakavara Manigriva so that they could fully understand him. And he's playing, how do you know I'm God, this and that, and then he benedicts them, and they fully understand Krishna. So he played with them a little bit. And then they glorify him, they offer prayers. Krishna approves of the prayers, and he's asking, well, how do you know I'm God? They're having a conversation, and they're explaining it. You kill all these demons, you act like God, you reveal your universal form. It's just describing the pastimes. And Nalakavara Manigriva are feeling a lot of bhav now. They're becoming ecstatic. And they're actually crying. This is like, you can imagine if you were Nalakavara Manigriva, how you'd be feeling right now. You're having this you're face to face with Krishna, you've been blessed by Narada Muni, you're having this discussion, and now you're experiencing ecstasy, and they just started crying. It was just like overwhelming. They've been waiting 20,000 years for this. It was worth the wait, don't you think? Okay. So, when you pray, you always ask for something. And they asked to be cowards. They said, our prayer is that we can be cowards. We want to be servants of your cowards. And Krishna said, that's a rare service. And they said, but Narada Muni's mercy, we saw you, so anything's possible. And Krishna said, oh yes, Narada Muni can fulfill your desire. And whatever you want, I will give it to you. So they said, bless us with pure devotion, mastery over the 9 limbs of bhakti. Us that our mouths can always glorify your attributes. Let us have affection for your devotees. May our minds be absorbed in your pastimes. May our ears attentively hear topics about you. May our hands and bodily limbs always engage in your service. May we repeatedly bow before you. Isn't it interesting? And may we offer all respects to all living entities. Right? I just want to be a servant of the devotees. I always want to glorify you, hear about you. Be pure. That's the example. What would you ask for?
Forgiveness for making the decision to come to this job.
Yes, that's a good one. First, before I ask you, forgive me for what I've done. Yeah. I think a devotee, if they were face to face with Krishna, they would be feeling so much affection, they would just say, I just want to love you. I just want to serve you. That's what they would ask. But if the devotee was not sincere and not pure, they might be tempted, because we're all tempted by jnana and karma. So they might be tempted by jnana and karma for some material benefit or just to be free from suffering. Oh, Krishna, could you make my wife go away? She's driving me crazy. We are so, we're so wrapped up in our misery. And in an impure state, we're always asking Krishna, please relieve my misery, isn't it? Have you ever asked Krishna to relieve your misery? Of course. We do all the time. So I'm just saying, if we're not in a pure state, there may be a temptation due to habit. The first thing we ask is, could you make this go away and that go away? Something to think about. Or, my room's a little small. Could I get before I ask for all the pure devotional stuff, can I get an upgrade? Maybe my own place would be nice. Now we can talk about pure devotional service. So that temptation would be there. Have you ever thought about needing something material? Of course. Have you ever thought of asking Krishna? Have you ever asked Krishna, please? Of course. So that's all I'm saying. But at the same time, I think if we're sincere and we're in front of Krishna, it would evoke the pure desire. Because Nala, Kuvera, Mani, Griva were not pure devotees, but now, because they become purified in Vrindavan, now they're seeing Krishna, they're asking for the right thing. So in theory, if we're sincere, we would ask for the right thing. You agree? Or at least
we can't ask anything, we are stunned like Obama.
Well, we might say, oh Krishna, don't ask me to ask you for anything. I just want to serve. But of course, asking for pure devotional service is the right thing to ask for. Pure devotional service is rare. And the thing is, you can't get love of Krishna. You can't work to get love of Krishna. He can only give it to you. So that's the perfect thing to ask for. It's not like you can chant these amazing rounds and get love of Krishna, or do arti perfectly and get love of Krishna, and do your service so well that you could achieve it, you can get it, you could grab it. You can't. It has to come from Krishna. He has to give it to you. So in that sense, you're at the mercy of Him. You can't, there's many things you can achieve in Krishna consciousness. You can go from Namaparad to Namabhas. You can go from this stage of bhakti to that stage of bhakti by following the process. But love, that's what He has it. So you can only get it from Him. So that's the best thing to ask. Because basically, practically everything else you could get on your own. But you can't get love on your own, so that's what you should ask. Right? Krishna, give me love because I can't get it on my own. If you could get something on your own and God says, what do you want? Don't ask for what you can get on your own. If you can get money on your own, don't ask Him. Don't bother Him. Ask Him what you can't get on your own, and that's love. It's in His hand, it's His gift, and He gives it. It's just how it works. Right? That's our philosophy. You can work your way through higher stages of bhakti, but love You can't work your way into it. It has to be given to Krishna, by Krishna. And I told this story before. This devotee who went to Radha Kund, and in Radha Kund he became attracted to the Babajis there, and he accepted shelter of one, and he was told that if you don't chant 64 rounds a day, you won't get love of Krishna. And so he told Prabhupada that I'm leaving ISKCON and I'm living here in Radha Kund. And then he said that we will not get love of Krishna if we don't chant 64 rounds. And then Prabhupada made that point. You can't, it's not by chanting 64 rounds that you can force Krishna to give you love. You can't do that. That's in his hand. And when he